Hello, my name's Julie from Jules Designs, and this is part of the collaboration. It's day 8 for Junk Journal Inspiration and Ideas, and it's to celebrate the 1 year anniversary. So, congratulations, Mandy and Justine. The collaboration is that a lot of us crafters have got together and done little videos in how we got into junk journaling. So my story is I actually started paper crafting in 1995. Um, in the years before internet, online shopping, and no craft shops, or if there was, they weren't where I lived. I started with wedding stationery, did that for a few years and I enjoyed it. I moved on to card crafting and I enjoyed that again. I loved making personalised cards. I was quite good with designing programs on PCs and things like that. I do have an art kind of background, not a graphic design background. But my crafting days went from a shoebox to a chest of drawers to my daughter's bedroom, small bedroom when she moved out. I was sad to see her go, but I was glad that I got a room for crafting. um, I, in I've run many craft groups. I've done demonstrations for local craft shops and worked for Do Crafts for a while. I then moved on to memory albums, which I loved making, and it's a kind of scrapbooking. Rather than buying the album, you make the album and the pages, and I really loved that. I loved making albums for people and personalising them. Then I was just looking at YouTube, just searching, because I searched YouTube a lot for people who did memory albums and things like that. And I came across this lady, Andrea from Artie Mays. And there she was, splashing gesso and ink and paint on coffee dyed paper that looked grubby. And I thought, oh, but it was quite intriguing. So I watched it again and then I searched through and I watched quite a few others, and it was quite alien to me because I'd come from a background of wedding stationery, cards, albums, where everything was quite precision and precise and neat and measured. To this, you did what made you happy. You could splash coffee, you could splash paint, you could rub your ink all over. It didn't matter, and get into a right old mess. So that was probably about 2018. And the first junk journal I made was an autumn junk journal. I did design my own papers to make it because, as the previous collaborators have said, you just buy too much. I mean, I've got probably about 60 or 70 12x12 scrap paper booking pads that I'm trying to use. I've got a lot of equipment that I used in my card making, wedding stationery. I have destashed a lot of it, but I am trying to bring some of it into my junk journaling. That's why you'll see me doing embossing and things like that, because there is a lot of us out there that came from card making, and we have this equipment, and it doesn't have to get waylaid. If you want to keep it, like me, I'm a hoarder. I like to keep things. So I am trying to use it, and I'm trying to sort of like share my experience in using it in journaling. I love junk journaling. I still like making albums, and I have a few that I've made for myself, and I've made a few for other people, and I do get asked occasionally to make a baby album and things like that. But I really love junk journaling. It's such an experience that I've never came across before. And anybody that watches my channel knows that I go to Cyprus. I'm lucky enough to go out to Cyprus for the winter. And I do take some craft stuff with me. And we've left some stuff there. But I pick up all kinds of scraps. And I try and make things out of them, bits of string that I find and tickets. My husband laughs at me because, like, we'll be walking down the road and there'll be tickets on the floor and I'll pick them. He usually says, "What are you doing with them?" They'll go in a junk journal. Anyway, so that's my experience, and that's how I got into junk journaling. One of the things I have learned, that it's only paper. At the end of the day, it's only paper, and if you make a mistake, you can cover it over with gesso or paint. It's not like your card crafting and memory albums and wedding stationery. If you make a mistake, that's it, it's binned. So as for tips, one of the biggest tips I can give you that I go by, and it's my biggest, the one golden rule in crafting, is there is no rules. It's whatever you like, what makes you happy. And I'm not a great believer in people that these art critics, and they can spoil somebody's life, they can ruin somebody's career. What is somebody's art isn't art for everybody. And I can make a junk journal and think, it's the bee's knees, but somebody else could look at it and think, that's not for me. Well, it doesn't matter. It's what makes you happy. And if you're making junk journals for people, I've made quite a few junk journals for people, and I usually go on a theme of what they like. My granddaughter loves bees, so I did a bee journal. My sister is an avid Outlander fan, so I did an Outlander journal for her. And I have to laugh at her because she keeps taking it out and touching it and stroking it, and she won't use it because it's so precious to her. But yeah, that's basically it. It's just, there is no rules. You just go with what you like, and at the end of the day, it's only paper. If you have some precious papers, if you have bought papers to use in your junk journal, and you want to try something, try it on an old book page or an old scrap bit of paper first. Just try it out, and if it goes wrong, you can learn by it. I totally agree with Justine. She was day one, where she said, if somebody had told her not to buy all the stuff that she had, and yeah, that's great advice. But it's like, if is the smallest word in the dictionary, but it's probably the most used. But there's, in crafting, there's needs, like Tracy went over. There are things that you do need. You need a good pair of scissors, you need a trimmer, you need things like that. But there are things that are nice to haves. And a nice to have isn't necessarily a need. So if you are crafting on a budget, you have to be careful. So I would think, before you buy anything, but mainly junk journaling is just using old junk mail, wrapping paper, packaging paper, newspapers, old books that you get from the thrift shop, or charity shop as they are here in the UK, and just ink. You don't have to have, you don't even have to have ink. You can use coffee, tea. You can dye your papers with red cabbage, avocado, dandelion, saffron, or well, saffron's a bit expensive, turmeric. And you can have a right old play with dyeing papers and things like that, and then grunging them up, you know, just experiment. So that is my tips for journaling. I hope you get something out of this, and I hope to see. I do have a YouTube channel, and at the moment I am covering for this you know, the month of May, with junk journal inspiration and ideas and inspirations with Mandy and Justine. I am covering a small series on crafting on a budget. So if you're looking to make your own stamps and sort of like things like that, you can visit me. But anyway, it was nice to see you, and I hope to talk to you again. Bye.